on Channels Television. I am Sean Kimale right here in Abuja. One thing most government that come into power and the administration mouth is the issue of fighting corruption and rid the system of decadence. But it is one thing that they are often accused of once they step out of power. The question is, has corruption now become a disease you fight, and when it becomes malignant and appears incurable, you just live with it? Tonight, Nigeria's anti-corruption work comes under sharp national focus as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Olukoyede, joins us to review the agency's efforts in 2025, his record on convictions, asset recoveries, and cybercrime crackdowns to the mounting controversy over politically exposed cases, allegations of selective prosecution, and claims of bias and witch hunt. With questions being asked about the handling of high-profile investigations, the Malami-related case, and accusations from opposition figures and the Bauchi State Governor, the EFCC boss faces scrutiny over whether the fight against corruption is being applied evenly, lawfully, and without political coloration. He aligns the Commission's priorities for 2026. I began by asking him in that sit-down about the year 2025 and whether the EFCC under Olukoyede has lived up to expectation.
Of course, we have released officially our report because you refer to when I was appointed. Our report, annual report for 2024, has been officially released, so Nigerians can get a copy of it and go through what we achieved in 2024. But speaking specifically about 2025, 2025 was an eventful year. We were able to record some modest achievements in terms of investigation and prosecution. We were able to break new ground. In terms of prevention, which of course I brought into the processes when I was appointed, we were also able to drum up our activities. And also in terms of letting Nigerians know what we do, we were able to reach to the nitty-gritty, of the geographical location of Nigeria by establishing 3 additional offices. Now, talking specifically in terms of investigation and prosecution, we were able to break new grounds, like I said. We were able to open certain cases with respect to politically exposed persons. One of the promises I made to Nigeria upon my appointment was not to allow any case to die. We were able to revisit some of those high-profile cases and fight charges. We were also able to take on perhaps one of the biggest and largest arrests and prosecution, investigation and prosecution of cybercrime cases anywhere in the world. That was the year that we recorded the conviction of high-profile internet cybercrime, which involved quite a number of foreigners. So we were able to convict about 193 foreigners. And some of them served their jail term. Some of them have been repatriated back to their countries. So that was a major one for us. Now, in terms of convictions generally, we were able to record some thousands of convictions as well. I may not be able to give you a specific figure now. It's still early in the year. We are trying to compile our records. And also in terms of recovery of assets, which of course is one of the key highlights of the fight against corruption. We were able to make some major achievements, in terms of monetary recoveries, in terms of real property, assets, both tangible and intangible. And in a matter of weeks, we'll be able to formally present our report to Nigerians.
4,000 convictions. That's what your report says you did in 2023 and 2024. Did you surpass that figure in 2025? You say you made, categorically, you say you made some convictions in 2025, and it's going to be in the hundreds.
In thousands.
In thousands, actually.
Right.
So you surpassed 2023 and 2024 figures?
Well, you know, I told you we are still compiling our record, but so far we have been able to compile, you know, some thousands, but we are still compiling. You know, we operate from about 14 various of visits, so the reports are still coming in. Like I said, in a matter of weeks, we should be able to put the reports together and present to Nigeria. So we'll be talking in terms of specifics.
For you, and you know, having been someone who is an EFCC institutional person over the years, not just you falling off from one tree and being a chairman, you know the system very well. And you know the expectations of Nigerians. A lot of people will be looking for high profile, politically exposed, the big monies, the big properties. For you, what would you say is your major high point as the leader of this institution in 2025?
Well, like
or perhaps your biggest win?
Yeah, our major high point was our ability to revisit and review old cases that Nigerians thought were dead.
Like which one?
For example, there was a case that was investigated in far back 2011. That one would have expected to have been taken to court. We were able to fight that charge against one of these former governors in the Southeast. The matter is in court right now. And also other, cases that involved governors and past ministers. We were able to fight charges on those cases in court. And also were able to make a huge recovery of assets. Nigerians are aware of the estate in Lokogoma, and Nigerians are also aware of some of the recoveries we made and some of the properties that we gave to the government, and which eventually were used for the benefit of Nigeria. And I give you a specific example. One of the properties in major highlights of our recovery was the recovery of an institution, a university, from an erstwhile director of the federal ministry. And today, that asset, that property, is serving as the University of Applied Sciences in Kashia, in Kaduna State. Perhaps that's the only university they have in that entire region. So that I've spoken to, the highlights of some of our activities, last year, and quite a number of them. By the time we release our official report.
Some of your critics will say, Mr. Olukoyede, that you seem to have focused more on opposition figures. Your net was only able to catch, and your ego is blind to the opposition, is blind to those who are friends of the government, and rightly open to those who are in the opposition. That is a perception for some of your critics.
Yes, you have rightly said, for some of the critics, as it were. And Nigerians will know that EFCC has been a focused agency over the years. Before my appointment to this office, that has always been the rhythm, that has always been the music. But it's important for Nigerians to know tonight that both members of the ruling party and members of the opposition are being railed to court on a regular basis. And our statistics have shown. It's just a matter of Nigerians going to court and getting the statistics of some of the cases we have filed. A lot of people spoke in that manner, don't take time to carry out due diligence. Sorry to say so. They don't speak with facts and figures. Now, I'm giving you facts and figures. We have prominent members of the ruling party that have been taken to court, and you are a journalist and you agree with me. We have one prominent members of the opposition party that we have taken to court. These are prominent people. In fact, there was a minister that we arraigned in court. A week after the arraignment, he went for a caucus meeting of the ruling party. It's a prominent member of the ruling party. Ordinarily, one Nigerians, if it were to be the real case, it being drawn up by the critics, we didn't have how they got to do that. And so Nigeria should be fair to this commission. We've been able to, at the risk of our lives, do some of this, carry out some of these investigations and prosecution. So Nigeria should allow EFCC to breathe. This is an institution that Nigerians should be proud of. And I tell you, we relate with our counterparts abroad. I've had cause to receive foreign countries' embassies here in my office who came to applaud us, to encourage us on the way we work. In fact, some of them specifically told me that, the way we go about members of the ruling party and also the opposition is something to be emulated by its own home anti-corruption agency. So it's important for Nigerians not to just run down our institutions. People would, for whatever reasons that you have, for whatever reservation, we should also come to a consensus as Nigerians that we must fight corruption. Whether part of the ruling party or people in the opposition, the fact remains, have they committed crime?
Because the fear is that under Olukoyede, is the EFCC independent? Is the EFCC unbiased? Because there are fears that EFCC is mostly used in the history of this country as a tool of witch hunt. And that those who are saying, once you get into the ruling party, EFCC will not see you.
And I challenge them to bring out the figures and the facts.
Are you saying that you're telling Nigerians that you don't care whose fault is God? You will go after anyone who commits offense?
But I'll just give you some examples now, Shim, which cannot be controverted. We cannot be faulted.
Because they claim that you are working on the behest of the president and he's whatever the ruling party
let us put the facts on the table. And I'm putting the facts on the table for Nigerians to do
Mr. Olukoyede,
that's what
is the EFCC independent?
That's what my mandate says.
Are you being able?
That is what my mandate says, and that's what we're doing.
In 2026, do you have a renewed agenda about how to go about things?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank Nigerians who believe in what we're doing. Even though you have spoken about some critics, we are not afraid of critics, provided it's constructive. We always listen to Nigerians because we are here to work to serve the country. Now, in 2026, Nigerians had, before now, Nigeria had given us their support, and I expect more support this year. And I want to promise Nigerians that we are going to consolidate on some of our achievements, our modest achievements that we made in the last 2 years under my tenure. With respect to our institutional reforms, we are going to carry out more institutional reforms, particularly with respect to professionalism in our operations. I'm very sure you agree with me, in the last 1 month or 1 or 2 months, you've not been hearing the issue of, busting into houses and all of that, even though we're still carrying out our investigation of cyber criminals, the so-called Yahoo boys, on daily basis, and we are arraigning them in court. That will show you that we have brought in some elements of professionalism in the way we do our things.
So your approach is now different? Because the commission has been heavily criticized in the past about jumping into the roof, jumping on people's houses, and at the end of the day, nothing comes out of it?
See, I tell you, there's a difference between investigating politically exposed person, public corruption, and cybercrime. When you are investigating cybercrime, you don't send invitation to people the way you send invitation when you are investigating politically exposed people. You know why? Because the dynamics is different. The way people carry out cybercrime is quite different. Now, let me use the word commonly used by Nigerians, Yahoo boy. If you're a Yahoo boy, and we send an invitation to you to come, for interrogation or to clarify issues, before you get to us, all the equipment and the items that you use to perpetrate your fraud, you will have probably deleted or thrown out some of those things, throw them away.
So that's why you bust?
No. That's why we sting. We carry out our sting operations professionally. So it is important, it's expedient for you to carry out your operations in a professional way, in such a way that you will not lose your evidence because of investigation, and at the same time you follow the due process of law. So that's why all over the world, law enforcement agencies, they carry out sting operations when it comes to certain categories of crime.
Because people will give example, Mr. Olukoyede, of how Hush Puppy was arrested in the UAE, in alliance with the UAE government and the FBI, how he was coordinated, and that sting operation was carried out, and there was a bust on him. And that those who will say, can EFCC go in that direction to be able to have a coordinated operation that will lead into decisive arrest and prosecution of elements who are doing criminality?
Sure, I give you an example. The example you just gave me now, if you were to be Nigeria, Nigerians would have criticized you for arresting somebody in the dead of the night. You know the time the Hush Puppy was arrested? So if we had done that, Nigerians would criticize you for arresting people at the dead of the night or the dawn and all of that. But you see, I just told you now, in the last 2 months, we have carried out hundreds of arrests of Yahoo boys. But you are immediately
on sting
operation. But nobody had anything about it. And I've just
you are more professional now.
That is the result of the review of our, institutional reforms, and also our processes and policies, but again, as law enforcement, sometimes you have to use the force of law to carry out your activities. You must also agree with us in that respect. There are some of these guys you can't see in the broad daylight. They don't come out in the broad daylight. So you have to plan your operations very professionally. There are some of them that you don't find them in their houses. Most times you find them in hotels and apartments. And so if you carry out your surveillance and you know where they are at the right time, you carry out your arrest.
So Nigerians in 2026 should expect from the EFCC that whenever they see EFCC officials at the door of anyone, they know that it's legally backed and it's professional. That's what we should expect in 2026.
That's right, because we have the power to do so. Our law enables us and empowers us to do that.
Without a warrant.
He effect arrest without a warrant. The law, the badge I carry is my warrant to effect an arrest.
Anytime.
Anytime, any day.
And on any door. To kick any door down, anytime, any day.
Look, if I have to break down a door for me to effect arrest, I will do that. And you see FBI do you see them do that? You see NCA do that. So why is our own different? See, it's important for us to appreciate the institutions we have in Nigeria and to make them work. Foreigners will not do it for us. We have had cause to carry out joint operations with our counterparts abroad, FBI, NCA, and the records are there. Professionally, we have been given laurels with respect to professionalism. I, as a person, have been given from so many countries. I've had cause to receive the director of FBI in my office to acknowledge what we do here in this office. He came from America to acknowledge our work. So if foreigners acknowledge what we do, what about Nigerians? Why can't we allow these institutions to survive? If we have been complaining if corruption is our problems, look, nobody is perfect, and you are not going to get any perfect institution anywhere in the world. We have our shortcomings, but with our modest achievements, Nigerians should support us. Because this thing we do is for Nigeria. It's for the progress of this country.
What is your ultimate agenda for 2026?
To see financial crimes and corruption be perpetrated at a very reduced rate. And that's why I've introduced fraud risk assessment and control, driven by my preventive department upon my assumption of office. Now, in the last 1 year, that department has been able to drum up their activities. We've been able to monitor real-time capital budget, ministry department and agencies. We've been able to bring back to life some of the moribund projects that government has advanced money for. We've been able to recover money, and we've been able to arraign some of the contractors that refuse to execute these projects. And so we've been able to save the country some hundreds of billions of naira in the last 1 year. And this is money that would have been stolen and we'll be running after. And so prevention is very key. And that is what we want to build on this year.
The EFCC has been in the news lately, and during the festivities, one of the major news is that of some high-profile, politically exposed person being arrested, and they're now on trial for alleged corruption. Those who think that, what happened? Did the EFCC just wake up, or what really happened recently? The burst of new activities.
Yeah, it's what we call the maturity of our investigation processes. I told you there are cases that you can be on for 2-3 years before it gets to maturity stage. And don't forget, I also promised Nigerians that some of those cases that seems as if EFCC had forgotten will be, brought back to life. So we're able to do some of those files, and we're able to, fight charges. And we were also able to, bring to reality some of the activities that we started a couple of years ago. One of the things I promised Nigerians, in your last year interview, was that I would not be stampeded or be rushed into taking any case to court if I'm not personally convinced, as a lawyer who understands the elements of these offenses, that I've been able to put together my proof of evidence watertight. I will not be rushed to court. So what we are now seeing is our ability to put some of this evidence together and to push them to court. But more are coming. And I tell you, it takes a lot, to get to that stage. It takes a lot. Now, it's important for Nigerians to know that a case can take you 3, 4, 5 years to get to maturity stage. And being part of the system over the years, I've seen cases that were thrown out at the level of no case submission because the investigation was not diligent enough. So having seen all that, and now I'm here, I will not allow myself to be subjected to that kind of, that kind of, arrangement that will not make my cases see the light of the day. And we want to assure Nigerians, any case under my team, that we take to court, we rest assured that it's watertight. And I challenge Nigerians to go and check our approval of evidences in court. All cases we file in court, Nigerians have access to it. They can go and get the cities.
But why sometimes do you come up with terrorism financing allegations? And at the end of the day, when you file the case substantively in court, those allegations don't surface on your charges.
Can you give me an example, Sean?
I mean, former Attorney General of the Federation has alleged persecution, and in fact there is an article written which seemed to have been able to establish the fact that in the early stages there were talks about terrorism financing. The governor of Bauchi State has also come out to say the minister of the EFCC, Nyesom Wike, is using you and your office to persecute him. Similar song is being sung by Mr. Malami, the former Attorney General of the Federation, this is just mere persecution. At some point, there are allegations of terror financing, but they never come up in the charges.
Let's take it one after the other. You spoke about the former Attorney General. There was never a time that EFCC said he was being tried or investigated for terrorism financing. I don't know where you got that from. See, people run to the media. They run to the media to tell stories. Sometimes I myself, as the chairman of EFCC, I'm taken aback about some of the revelations with respect to our investigation I see in both print and electronic media, and particularly social media. There was an arrest we effected with respect to one politically exposed person. He was being investigated. The next thing I knew was that somebody said we are investigating him for over 300 billion naira. Which was not true. There was never a time that we came out to tell Nigerians that we were investigating the former Attorney General for terrorism. That's one. Number two, if you look at the charges we filed against him at the Federal High Court, that's to do with money laundering. And it's there. We never spoke about terrorism financing. If that has been in the media, maybe from third parties, not us, definitely not us. Now, so we didn't file charges against him with respect to terrorism financing. It was money laundering. The other one we filed was the issue of the assets, which of course Nigerians are aware that we have secured interim forfeiture on those 57 assets. Now, that's about the former Attorney General. The second one you spoke about, a governor is serving governor. With respect to His Excellency, if he has not seen the processes we filed, I encourage him to look at those processes. I even heard at some point that he was angry with the EFCC that we mentioned his name, and we also had somebody on the TV who is saying that we cook up charges, trump up charges against him. Sometimes I'm taken aback the way some of our intellectuals speak when they have the platform to speak. This person that spoke about trump up charges, I'm very sure he never carried out his due diligence. I'm very sure he never took the pain to check what we have filed in court. If he had taken that extra pain as an intellectual, he would have seen the proof of evidence in our charges. Now, the issue of terrorism and financing, yes, we mentioned the name of a serving governor there, because there is no way we'll be able to prove our case if we don't mention his name. Now, we didn't file charge against him. We didn't violate the provision of the Constitution with respect to immunity. And don't forget that this same governor has been on trial before he was elected the governor in 2016. So was it Wike that pushed EFCC in 2015, 2014 to investigate him after he served as the minister? So this idea of trump-up charges, it's politically motivated, and it's even derogatory to the mandate of EFCC to say one minister is pushing us to fight charges against, people. It's derogatory to our mandate. And Nigerians should respect EFCC for what, this institution is put in place to do, and for the modest achievements we have made.
We'll take a break, everyone, but when we return, the conversation continues. Anti-corruption war in Nigeria, politics and the law. The EFCC chairman answers questions to major high-profile cases in the land and how the agency has handled it. We'll be right back after now.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
When we think of Christmas, we remember the laughter, the warmth, the memories made. Now, imagine experiencing all of that in a home that is truly yours. Your first Christmas tree, your first family dinner, your own space filled with love and light. Write your own story this season with Adron Homes Lemon Friday Plus promo. Enjoy up to 30% discount off land sales. Enjoy easy payment plans and unwrap beautiful Christmas gifts, because this Christmas, this story isn't ours, it's yours. And some gifts never grow old, just like the joy of a home.
So, this is what we've become.
Please. The head of this home, if you spoke to me.
Please.
You see the way you're talking to me.
If you respect yourself, I'm not going to respect you.
Say you see the way you're talking.
How am I talking to you? Look what you've done to me. There is no peace for the wicked. Do you understand me? Beat me. We die here.
What if you could spot early signs of intimate partner violence before marriage or early in your marriage? Introducing IRIS, Nigeria's first assessment platform, developed with licensed counselors and psychologists to help identify and prevent intimate partner violence. Are you a religious center ready to help your members build healthy marriages? Call 0810-284-2542. The IRIS assessment. Take the test, spot the signs, stop the violence. Powered by Citizens Gavel.
Our end-of-year sales is on. Doors are more than entryways, they are guardians. At Swiss Street Doors, we don't just build doors, we make grand entrances. From the timeless elegance to the unmatched strength of our historical doors, our pivot security doors, our exclusive doors, and our Irish galvanized steel doors, to the water resistance of our internal doors, don't miss your chance to save big. Come and enjoy our 50% combo discount offer now. Swiss Street Doors, your door, your proud.
With us. Let's get back to our conversation with the EFCC chairman, Olukoyede. Part of the grievances of the former Attorney General is that the EFCC's actions are procedurally flawed. And this is a senior advocate of Nigeria talking here. Can you say categorically, as a lawyer, the EFCC followed the due process of law? Because the man is saying that this is a witch hunt and that you are personally attacking his person. You are coming after him, that you are persecuting him rather than prosecuting him, and that your procedures are flawed.
I'm here to understand the fact, to see the fact is going to bring out to buttress that claim, if actually he said that. I don't understand. Look, we carried out our investigation in the most professional way. And let me tell you about that particular format or the you are talking about. There is nothing personal in this matter, Q. If Nigeria should move forward, all of us must agree that this fight must be fought without being partisan. And that's what I want Nigerians to understand and to agree with us. So now I want to tell Nigerians that the investigation of this man predated me in the office. And a lot of people don't know that.
Malami?
Yes. Yes. I inherited the investigation file. What I did was to ensure that the investigation was carried out in a very professional and thorough manner. He has been under investigation for almost 2.5 years.
Since immediately after the exit of the Buhari government, there is an investigation started.
The file was opened, not even under me. I inherited it. And for the past over 2 years I've been in the office, we've been painstakingly, carrying out the investigation, trying to establish, some of these, offenses and all of that. Not until I was convinced that we had a watertight case, and Nigerians are witnesses. So there's nothing personal about it. I don't understand the issue of persecution and all of that. That's nothing personal.
But, as a former chief law officer of the land, it's important that we critically look at the case of Mr. Malami and some of the claims that he's making. He's claimed that he was instrumental in setting up the Justice Salami panel, which allegedly indicted you. And that is one of the reasons why you're after him. According to him, and as far as he's concerned, this is personal. Were you indicted by Justice Salami's panel?
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm very sure Nigerians will be interested in seeing this matter put to rest once and for all. Now, those who claimed I was indicted fraudulently or criminally indicted by the panel, the onus is on them to publish the report for people to see. Because I've had occasions to listen to people who say, oh, we have not seen the report. And they are making claims that I was indicted. Don't forget that this panel was set up in 2020. And I think they wound up their activities in early 2021. And between 2021 and 2023 that the new government came to the office, the former Attorney General was in the office as the Attorney General. I'm very sure he had access to the report. Why was the report not published for 2 years that he was in the office? Why was it that after investigation, case file was opened, not only opened, after charges were about to be filed, which he knew, that was when he now came to the public to say that it was persecution, that he was investigating it because of the report of the panel. For me, I have not seen the report of the panel. I won't speak to what I cannot lay my hands on. That's number one. Number two, about the panel, the work of the panel, I think it's a better opportunity for me to put this thing to rest. All Nigerians knew that it was the former acting chairman that was the subject of that investigation, number one. But in the course of the investigation, they felt they needed to take statements or to seek clarifications from other members of staff. Of course, at that time, I was the secretary to the commission, which of course, number two. So I was invited, not only me, quite a number of directors. I think about 7 or 8 of them were invited. Some management staff, members of management staff were also invited. Both middle cadre and lower cadre were also invited. Quite a number of us, and we went to the panel. I attended the sitting of the panel on 2 occasions. The first time I was asked what was my statutory mandate, I explained. The second time I got there, I sat for some time. They said, okay, they will send for me if they needed me. That was the last I knew about the panel. Now, I think sometime down the road, I was invited by this institution, and I was told that the report has been forwarded to them for further investigation.
Yeah.
So I was invited to come and make statement, even here in the EFCC. So I came, I made the statement, just like any other person, like of course the other directors and the other members of staff, that they also came to make statements. Before everybody was put on suspension then, you know. So I made my statement, and that was it. Also, but as I'm talking to you, Sheung, the long and short of it is that number one, the investigation report in the EFCC cleared me, and I need to tell Nigerians this. And secondly, I got the same presidency that set up that panel gave me letter of clearance.
So you have the letter?
I'll be clear.
Are you able to publish those documents?
No, why should I publish the letter?
No, because the allegations...
I'm telling you,
there are allegations against you: obstruction of justice, impropriety, abuse of office, alleged financial impropriety. These are heavy allegations against you.
Did you see the report? That is alleged those indictments. Did you see the report?
The report was not been made public.
So why are you making the assertion to what you have?
Well, you face the panel.
I just told you now. I just told you now.
Are you able to publish that letter of credence that you were given?
If it is important for me, if it is necessary for me, I will. And I'm telling you now that presidency cleared me. I have my letter of clearance. Not only that.
The presidency under Buhari?
Not only presidency is presidency. Don't ask me whether it's under Buhari. I mean, I don't think that would be expedient. Now, what is important is not only presidency, even the law enforcement that carried out further investigation cleared me. And so Nigerians can go and investigate that. I was cleared by the presidency. Not only that, I was restored. Not only that, all my allowances, my salary, I was asked to be paid. All right? So that, for me and to Nigeria, should put to bear or lay to bear the issue of panel and indictment. And I'd like to tell Nigerians, with every sense of responsibility, all through my service in the public sector, as chief of staff in the EFCC, as secretary in the EFCC, and I make bold to say that I've never been involved in any fraudulent activities.
As proven by any court of law or by any institution?
Even by any form of allegation. I've never been involved in any fraudulent activities. I served as chief of staff, no Nigerian, and I challenge anybody to say, oh, this man has ever collected one bottle of Coke or 1 naira to influence my sense of judgment in carrying out my responsibility. As secretary, I had cause to manage assets, and to dispose assets. You can't trace any asset to me, nor any member of my family, as a matter of principle. And no Nigeria can say I collected 1 dime because of carrying out my activities. So the issue of fraudulent indictment, I don't know where that would have come from.
So you're not a rich man?
In the first place.
So you're not a rich man?
I don't understand what it means by being a rich man.
The allegation of people enriching themselves in the dispensation of assets that have been recovered. That some of those assets have been given to family and cronies.
Yeah, but I just told you now, I never sold any asset to many members of my family.
That's what I'm asking. Are you a rich man?
I don't understand how you link the issue of being a rich man to the issue of disposal of assets. And I've told you now, I've never benefited from any of these assets. Never. Nigeria should go and investigate that. So I don't understand the concept of being a rich man.
You have a declaration of your assets?
Of course I did that. I said that to the public. I did that. That was the first thing. I did it as the chief of staff. I did it as secretary. I did it as chairman. And I remember Nigerians will also remember that I asked all my staff to also declare their assets. So look, it's something that anybody can verify.
So Olukoyede is a saint.
No. Don't be too. I believe that would be a bit ridiculous. Don't stretch it to that extent.
Recently,
but I'm telling you, you have never been
without blemish. That's what you're talking about.
I'm telling you, you have never been involved in any fraudulent activity, whether as chief of staff or as secretary. And I'm telling Nigerians, if you have ever offered me a bribe and I collected, come out and say it.
You're upright.
To the best of my knowledge.
Apart from being
I do my work with every sense of diligence, and I do my work with every sense of commitment and loyalty to the mandate.
Mr. Olukoyede, let me ask you, the notion of partisanship of the commission predates your time as chairman. However, it's sometimes a very difficult thing to prove or to dispel whichever way you find it. And I agree there are prominent members of the ruling party, the APC, that have been investigated by the EFCC, but are now yet to be charged, years after the investigation commenced. Why?
I've just told you that sometimes these investigations can take time. Nigerians have been able to draw inference. If we thought we see every day. And I've been able to also explain that from time to time. Look, in 48 hours, I can investigate and arraign a cyber criminal in 48 hours. It's just a matter of getting the devices and all that I've done. In fact, mere attempt to carry out that offense, if I'm able to lay my hands on the documents, I'm going to court. I will be able to establish a case. But when it comes to politically exposed persons or public corruption or high-profile corruption, it takes time. It takes time. And I've said I can't be stampeded in going to court when I'm not ready. Now, and I give you an example. That was a former governor I've been investigating. And Nigerians were, some critics, mischievous critics, were quick to say because the person they come to APC have not been able to arraign him in court. And I will tell you this. This is a high-profile investigation. As I'm talking to you, I have close to 7 requests I have sent abroad, foreign banks. I think I've only received response for about 2. I'm yet to, and if I don't have those evidence, I will not be able to create nexus. And these are issues. I can't come out and be explaining to Nigeria every bit of the work I do. That's why I said Nigerians should also take the pain to understand the nature of the work we do. Investigations take time. There are things we trace abroad. Over there, they operate under different jurisdictions. Some of them will tell you that you have to go to court, get an order, and all of that for them to be able to oblige you any information. Where you don't have law enforcement to law enforcement, or MOU, or where you don't have any mutual legal assistance treaty with those countries, is a whole hell, of process going in there to get evidence. And sometimes the way people move money, at the speed of light, those monies end up abroad. And if you can't trace those accounts, you can't get information about those accounts, it will be difficult for you to link them to it. So some of these things are painstaking. And Nigeria must also give us that chance. Let's do our work diligently. Now I have told Nigeria there is no case that is dead in EFCC. It may take time, eventually you get there. You know how long it has taken FBI to investigate Hush Puppy before he was eventually arrested. So our work is painstaking. We are talking of financial crimes, And with the advent of technology, development in technology, it makes it more difficult. Intricacies involved, and you have to unravel some of these things before you are able to gather your evidence and put it together.
What criteria does the EFCC employ in deciding who is charged, who is prosecuted, who you go after? Does the EFCC get its orders from the president on who to target?
Sure, you have come again. You asked me this question last year, and I gave you a categorical answer. My mandate does not allow me to get instruction from anybody.
Even the president?
My mandate does not allow me to get instruction or directive from anybody.
Do you report to him?
My mandate does not say I should report to anybody. Do you give respect to the office of the president?
Who do you give account to?
To Nigerians.
So you are not...
Through the National Assembly.
You are not
where we file our report.
So you are not accountable to any politician in the land?
We are accountable to Nigerians, through the National Assembly. By virtue of the provisions of our law, of our Establishment Act, we present our report, we lay it before the National Assembly every year. I've done the one for 2024, and it's there for Nigerians to see.
This notion and perception a lot of the times, if not carefully dealt with, becomes a narrative, and those kind of narratives, they stick. And there are those who think that the EFCC is on a game of a tribal witch hunt. That there are a lot of northern leaders and northern elements. And if you see an article written by former governor of Kaduna, Nasir El-Rufai, to the fact that there are more northern leaders and elements who are being gone, who EFCC are going after them. Is there an agenda to go after an element, or there are more corrupt northerners than the southerners?
When some of the former chairmen who were here, you remember there was this allegation that they were going after southerners. Remember? Now, a southerner is here. There's this allegation that I'm going after northerners. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous. And people have been unfair. People say that have been unfair to this institution. And they should know that it's not just about Olukoyede alone. I have over 5,000 operatives from all parts of Nigeria. Over 5,000 operatives. From the north, from the south, from the east, from the west. And we are all here working under one spirit directing us. So there is no room for ethnicity here. No room at all. And if you see our investigation, so people even accuse me that I am only running after criminals in the south. That why am I not concentrating? Why in my own time? And that is when I'm investigating Southerners. They will tell you some of these criminals, cyber criminals, are Southerners. I've had that severally, you know. And so those are the rhythms, those are the songs that people will be singing, and so we are used to that.
Are there more corruption trend in the north that is giving that kind of perception more than the south? In terms of statistics and those who feel there are more prosecution in the north and there are more targets in the north than the southern region of the country.
Let them come up with the statistics. My statistics is out there. The cases I've taken to court are out there. So let them come out. If I've not been able to arrange southeasterners or southwesterners or northerners, you know, in the course of my, service to the nation, let them bring out the statistics.
You've talked about your record of convictions and prosecution, but, you know, there are perceptions that there is still, most of them are small fries. Why is it difficult for you and the commission to prosecute and convict politically exposed persons, those who have stolen big money, a lot of the riches and wealth of this country?
Thank you for that good question, Sheon. And I've told you the difference between various categories of offenses, how it is easier to investigate cybercrime than public corruption. Now, that's one. Number two, I investigate, I prosecute, I don't convict. We have quite a number of high-profile cases in court. There was a case filed in 2007, and we are still in court. We went to Supreme Court, we came back, and we just did another rearrangement. That was not due to the fault of EFCC. Now, some of these people we are talking about have the money to hire some of the best lawyers in Nigeria. And some of them will lock down these cases for years. We do our best to move the case forward. That is one. Secondly, we don't have to put the blame on any sector, as it were, because the judiciary have their own challenges too. I have witnessed cases in court where the judge writes with hands. No stenography equipment. He writes with hands. So for every statement you make, he has to ask you to pause. He writes. So to even take a witness, remember, we'll do our examination in chief, the defense counsel will come and do cross-examination. Sometimes it takes weeks, if not months, just to be on one witness. And so you will feel for these judges who write with hands. Now, when they write with hands, they will give, if they're going to make a ruling, just interlocutory ruling, they will give it to the typist. The typist will type, and he will look at it, correct it, take it back to the typist, that will type again. They now, adjourn to make ruling. That's only interlocutory matter. Meanwhile, if all our courts are equipped with stenographic equipment, that best ruling, in 10, 20 minutes, you have taken the ruling and you have moved on.
So the judicial process is frustrating your efforts?
Well, I can't say it's frustrating. It slows down the process.
It grinds slowly.
So, like I said, too, sometimes it may not be the fault of the judiciary as well, because we are witnesses to some of these things, all right? So it's a societal thing. It's a thing that, we must come together, the government must come together and see how we can, come to and fast track some of these cases. Perhaps people have been advocating for that. I will also lend my voice to that, but perhaps by creating special courts for financial crimes and corruption cases.
Every great journey begins with a single promise.
When I grow up, I'll buy a beautiful house for you and Mommy.
Dear Mother, here are the keys to your apartment at Kutu Exclusive Resorts by Michelle Holmes.
Own an investment in Africa's first golf resort in Abuja's most affordable exclusive estate. Kutu, where your story begins and grows.
Our end-of-year sales is on. Doors are more than entryways, they are guardians. At Swiss Street Doors, we don't just build doors, we make grand entrances. From the timeless elegance to the unmatched strength of our historical doors, our pivot security doors, our exclusive doors, and our Irish galvanized steel doors, to the water resistant of our internal doors, don't miss your chance to save big. Come and enjoy our 50% combo discount offer now. Swiss Street Doors, your door, your pride.
And cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
Presenting King Fam IGI Tower, a 12-story iconic mixed-use edifice on Independence Avenue, Central Business District, Abuja, by NNPC Tower and other national and international assets. This magnificent edifice by King Fam offers a unique opportunity for investors and direct end users with a high-yielding return on investment. Here, the visibility of your business is assured and unequaled. Now selling in units. For 35 years, King Fam has been a consistent part of real estate deliveries, especially in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. To watch this video again, please visit King Fam on YouTube or scan this QR code.
Let me ask you quickly about some of the monies that you have recovered in the last 1 year. Where are those monies? Have you remitted those funds in the Federation account as the law requires you to?
Thank you, Sean. We are guided by the process of Crimes Act when it comes to the management of process of crime. Now, I want to tell Nigerians this. When you hear us read out a figure with respect to monetary recovery, for example, if we say we have recovered 10 billion, Nigerians should note and should know that it's not all the 10 billion that goes to the government. We have what we call direct and indirect recovery. Now, among our nominal complainants or petitioners are individual victims. So now, when we recover money for these people, we release the money back to them. We don't give it to the government. If you're a victim of crime, it will be obnoxious for us to, it will be contrary to provisions of the law for us to recover money and give it to government. So we return your money back to you, but we are going to capture it as recovery. Now, we also have corporate complainants, corporate bodies. When we recover money for them, private corporate bodies, we give it back to them. We have public institutions, ministries, departments, and agencies. We also recover money for them. I mean, you know, in billions. We also give it to them. Now we have the foreign entities, foreign, nationals that are scammed. When we recover this money in foreign currencies, we also give it back to them. Now we have the government and various layers of government. We recover for local government, we recover for state government, we now recover for federal government. So you discover sometimes some of these figures that we reel out, maybe less than 2, 3, 10% of it comes to the federal government finally.
So, but you've remitted everything.
Of course.
Nothing is in the coffers of the EFCC.
We don't have coffers. We don't have coffers. What I have here is my exhibit room. And I'm not permitted to keep cash in my exhibit. As a matter of fact, part of our institutional reform was not to keep cash in my exhibit room. So whatever comes in goes to the CBN, goes to the Central Bank of Nigeria.
You were very vehement about your approach, and you said you were going to see cases too. In fact, in one of the rooms down here in the EFCC, about the former governor of Kogi State, you said you will rather step out of this office if you don't see this through. Are you still on that agenda of ensuring that is either you leave this office or not seeing this through?
So have I not made good that promise of commitment? No, I'm asking you. Is Yab not being prosecuted?
But there are those,
about 3 cases.
There are those who are unhappy in the handling, and they are even asking you to recuse yourself or to step down from their office.
In handling of what?
Of Yayabelo's matter.
How do I handle Yayabelo's matter? Am I the judge? I have 3 cases against Yayabelo. Am I the judge that will determine the conviction? No, I'm asking you, Cheo. I've done my work. I've fulfilled my mandate, and Nigerians must know that, and they must also encourage us in doing more. This man has been investigated. He has 5 charges against him, and the matter is getting traction. You just follow up these cases. Some of us are lazy.
Because we just sit down, and because we are the drama that happened in.
Forget about drama. Forget about drama. It's not about drama. It's about the fact that his man facing prosecution. Why are we interested in drama and are not speaking to the real matter, substance that will discourage people from perpetrating fraud? Why are some people so gullible? Why are you referring to drama that happened 2-3 years ago or whatever? I'm not talking about Nigerians encouraging ourselves to follow up the cases.
Is the accusation
Do you know the state of that case?
Is the accusation of the bias and the people who think that the level of respect and the manner in which you handled, you probably would not have handled any other
What respect? What respect? Somebody was here who was even detained there, and we took him to court. What respect are you talking about, And the same Nigeria will say we are not working in a professional way, that they want to see us to be more professional and civil. Look, it's important for us. Let us agree. Do we have a national consensus to fight corruption and financial crimes in Nigeria? Do we have? Don't let us play to gallery. Don't let us be gullible. Let's face how many of you media men have taken the pain to follow up those cases and give us updates. Because I can tell you those cases are getting tractions. They're getting tractions. And so some people are so comfortable sitting in the corners of their room because they have access to internet and just throw anything out there. And it's very unfair on some of these institutions that are working day and night. Not only EFCC, regulatory bodies that are working day and night to sanitize Nigeria. And we must give them a chance. And it's very important. And we need also media people like you. You must understand, let us always encourage people to speak with facts. When they come to your platform and they're coming up with some of these mischievous, ideas and all of that, let us ensure that we bring them to track. We let them speak to facts and ask them about facts and figures.
What has happened to the case of the monies meant for the welfare of Nigerians and the matter a lot of Nigerians felt that a former minister was involved in? It does look like there is no closure to that matter. What is the update?
Which matter are you referring to? Just be specific.
The former minister, Beta Edo.
The matter is still ongoing, still under investigation. It's still under investigation. Not only Beta Edo, there's other ministers that we are still investigating them. And I've told you, not until I'm able to conclusively, bring my decision to an end, I will not be pushed to go into court.
So the humanitarian and poverty alleviation proceeds and funds are still under investigation?
Of course, that's what I'm telling you now.
On a final note, sir, your agency has been accused of violating rights of citizens of this country, breaking into hotel rooms and private rooms in pursuit of Yahoo boys. Why is this so? And I mentioned it briefly earlier, but are those who will be wondering, are there better ways to handle this matter, maybe with technology? Are you that obsolete in your operations?
One of the things we have done recently, part of our institutional reform, was to upgrade the standard of our forensic laboratory. And we've done so. Believe me, EFCC is one of the best anti-corruption agencies in the world.
Really?
And I say that with every sense of...
And can stand shoulder
I say that with every sense of responsibility. And some of you are aware of some of the laurels that EFCC has received. You are aware that we carry out joint operations with the best law enforcement agencies in the world. That's one. Now, secondly, the issue of our processes. Yes, there could be one or two occasions where, we are falling short of expectation with respect to professionalism. And I told you, EFCC is not a perfect institution. We continue to improve by the day. And one of the policies we came up with was the gift policy. Now we have a policy that says if anybody gives you a gift, a particular threshold, you must declare it. You must. This past Christmas, I didn't allow anybody to bring Ampa to our premises because it's a policy. So you must be able to defend your means of livelihood. And one of the things I want to thank Mr. President for, he has been able to support us to improve the welfare of our people. And with the gift policy in place, we'll be able to checkmate the excesses of my men. Quite a number of my staff are responsible, with integrity, committed to this work. Of course, we could see some few recalcitrant people, inordinate affection and all of that.
Well, that's how far we can go on the conversation with Mr. Olukoyede. Of course, he spoke about Emefiele, those assets that have been forfeited in Abuja. I'll be telling you more about that tomorrow. That portion I will show you tomorrow on Politics Today. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.
We share our planet with millions of plant and animal species, and we rely on them for our survival. But how can we protect them better? How can we learn from our mistakes and make our communities stronger? That's what we're looking at on Echo Africa today. Hello, my name is Malami in Lusaka, Zambia.
And the very best greetings from me too. I am Chris Alems in Lagos, Nigeria. It's great to have you with us. Coming up on this show.